Family violence almost always encompasses a family full of unresolved trauma, anger, hostility, and even neuroticism. Siblings can be a wonderful addition, right, to any family, but they can also cause a lot of pain. If you have a sibling who has a personality pathology or has an untreated mental illness, poorly treated mental illness, or behavioral problems, life with that sibling can be rather difficult, right? Because everything you wish you could do isn't something that your sibling is open to. Take, for example, going out and hanging out together and just being happy-go-lucky siblings. Maybe your other sibling is more used to competing with you, being vengeful, being abusive, and being dominating than being on the same level with you and doing something together as a loving sibling. Oftentimes, siblings who are difficult with each other, they tend to engage in what we call family violence. Family violence can be anything from, physical, sexual, emotional, or psychological abuse. It could be child molestation. It could be child trafficking. It could be prostitution. It could be exposure to drugs at an early age. It could be just about anything. Manipulation, stormy ups and downs in the household where everybody's angry one minute and okay the next. These kind of siblings are problematic and they leave a trail of destruction behind them. Oftentimes when we are talking about siblings who are sneaky and toxic and vulnerable and unhealthy, we're talking about a sibling who has a personality pathology. Now, you're well aware of the term dark triad, where there's Machiavellianism, narcissism, and psychopathy. Narcissism is this enduring pattern of self-enhancement and importance. Psychopathy is cold, callous demeanor with strategic moves and behaviors to get what he or she wants. And Machiavellianism is sadistic. It is destructive, manipulative, and its ultimate goal, the ultimate goal of a Machiavellian personality is to gain something over the other sibling or the other individual in an attempt to win, defeat, outrun, whatever. So that's the dark triad. But there's something known as the vulnerable dark empath. And really what's at the core of this concept is self-doubts, anger, irresponsibility, feeling this long enduring pattern of rejection, self-hatred, right? Vulnerable dark empaths do not have the confidence we think they should have on the inside. They tend to be way more insecure than you would think. And imagine having a sibling like this. There's going to be a constant disconnect between their outer and inner world. Their outer world shows one thing, their inner world tells them another. And this can create a roller coaster of a relationship with a sibling. Let me also state that research suggests that some individuals with dark empath traits, or they tend to have a vulnerable dark empath trait or series of traits, they tend to have a borderline pathology. A borderline pathology would include vengefulness, right? So wanting to get people back, and a little bit of a sadistic edge when angered or hurt. Emotional dysregulation is there at the core as well. Impulsivity, antagonism, right? That is also at the core. And these individuals often feel like if you wrong me in some kind of way, even if you're unintentional in how you've wronged me, you're going to get punished for that. So borderline pathology is sometimes at the core of vulnerable dark empaths and siblings who have years and years of problems. Now, other research suggests that family violence tends to happen more amongst siblings in the home. And siblings are considered a type of subgroup, right? Mom and dad is a subgroup, siblings are a subgroup, cousins are a subgroup, grandparents. Well, siblings who are a part of a subgroup, research suggests that they tend to have a lot of family violence between them. That doesn't mean all siblings are difficult to get, get along with in that way, or get along with in a positive way. But what it does highlight is this subsystem tends to deal the most with behaviors that could be considered family violence. So if you feel like this is you and you've experienced some of this, you want to keep watching. It's such a blessing when your siblings get along with you, right? I have siblings, we all get along. We may not always disagree, but we still love each other at the core of our heart. You know, we're often taking up for each other, supporting each other, and even forgetting wrongs that have been done, right? But there are some families where that just isn't the case. Some research, and I've seen this in my practice as well, some research highlights that these kind of individuals, these kind of siblings who are difficult and challenging and sneaky and toxic, they tend to be spoiled. They tend to be the favorite. You know, you hate to say that. And they also tend to have what we call toxic positivity. They're positive about everything. Why? Because they don't take life seriously. Everything is a joke, right? They're kind of like the family clown. They get along with other people in the family who spoils them and praises them and strokes them, right? These kind of siblings also tend to be jealous, envious, competitive, and dishonest. They don't have an ethical core. They'll go to whatever length they need to go to get favor within the family, even if it's wrong, even if it is not owed to them. And that's an ugly thing. They also tend to have externalizing behaviors, you know? Instead of holding in how they're feeling and working through it, they externalize it. So they roll their eyes. They create a fight or a confrontation or some kind of assault they engage in. They may be very hyperactive and impulsive and disregarding of your space. These externalizing behaviors are often at the core of sneaky, toxic, unhealthy siblings. You're also going to see inattention, right? So their attention is kind of like a little bit of everywhere. It's hard to settle them. And they're also going to be impulsive. So they're going to do whatever their mind tells them to do. They don't think before they act. They act before they think. They drain you in every way possible. They drain your money. They drain your energy. They drain your mind. You know, they drain your spirit. They do whatever they feel they need to do to get what they want. And all it does is suck all the energy from you. You know, they're emotional vampires. They just take from you. They tend to be demanding and controlling. And sometimes they don't have a job, they don't have a career, they dropped out of school. They are very much align. That doesn't sound right to me. They're very much in alignment, I'll put it that way, with a leech. But you're never going to know that, and they're never going to admit it because everybody around them is going to cover them. So how do these kind of siblings impact you negatively? Well, let's start with birth order, okay? Birth order is quite interesting because, you know, this sibling can be an older sibling who is relied on by everybody in the family. And because of that, it kind of strokes their ego. And it causes them to put you back in your place as the middle child, to put that one back in his place as the baby, because I am here now and everything's going to go well. So they can be quite aggressive, quite antagonistic, and arrogant. This is just who they are. Now, if they're a vulnerable dark empath, the possibility is that they have self-doubt, they're insecure, and they know they lack a strong foundation. But they're going to throw themselves out there anyway because they have that Machiavellian piece to them where they want to see things happen. They want to see things go wrong. They want to see what the consequences are for some people who have maybe wronged them. You know, there's always some kind of deep-seated ulterior motive. You may also notice that they engage in behaviors that are just socially aversive, right? They are yelling in public, talking loud, using profanity. They dress flamboyant, you know, they're out there. You know, they're constantly looking to get attention from somebody, even if it's a pet, they want attention. They're loud and disregarding of where they are. Restaurant, library, hospital. They suck all the attention out of the middle of the room because they want it all on them. They may even dress and act loud just to make people see them, right? So you're going to notice socially aversive behavior. They also engage in self-enhancing behaviors. They stroke themselves, they brag, they're prideful, you know, they really try to pull you into their world. If you have success or prestige, they want to make sure that, you know, they get a piece of that recognition somehow. They also tend to have, I'm trying to find the right word for it, they also tend to have highly neurotic traits. So very anxious, very reactive, very prissy, you know, kind of all over the place, not really sure who they are, lack of identity, having a hard time calming down and processing things. They're very reactive. This can be draining, right? But this is who they are. They're